Good afternoon. Right here in Nigeria, one of our most respected voices in human rights law, Femi Falana, has just weighed in with a powerful statement that is getting everyone talking. Femi Falana, the senior advocate of Nigeria, who has spent decades fighting for justice and democracy, has called on the United States Congress to call President Donald Trump to order. And when you hear what has been happening, you will understand exactly why this man felt compelled to speak out. Let me break down what is going on, because this story is developing rapidly and it involves Nigeria directly. Just this morning, Donald Trump held a press conference at his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida, where he announced that the United States military had conducted an overnight operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and bring him to the United States to stand trial. Trump announced that America would now run Venezuela until a proper transition could be arranged. This is not a movie script. This is actually happening right now as we speak. But here is where Nigeria comes into the picture. According to Femi Falana's statement, this Venezuela situation is just the latest in a series of actions by Trump that show a pattern of what Falana calls reckless gangsterism. Falana points out that Trump has been conducting military operations without getting approval from the United States Congress, which is actually required by the American Constitution. A few months ago, Trump bombed Iran without congressional approval. Then in November last year, Trump threatened to attack Nigeria over what he called Christian genocide. And on December 25th, Christmas Day of 2025, Trump announced that he had launched what he described as powerful and deadly strikes against militants linked to the Islamic State group in northwestern Nigeria. Once again, he did not seek congressional approval before bombing Nigerian territory. Think about that for a moment. The President of the United States ordered military strikes on Nigerian soil without following the proper legal procedures in his own country and without any coordination or approval from the Nigerian government. This is exactly the kind of behavior that has Falana calling for the U.S. Congress to step in and restore some order to what he sees as Trump's imperial presidency. Now, if you are enjoying this breakdown of what is really happening behind the headlines and you want to stay informed about stories that affect us as Nigerians and as citizens of the world, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss when we bring you these important updates. The situation with Venezuela today is particularly alarming because it shows just how far Trump is willing to go. According to multiple American news sources reporting, including NPR, ABC News, and CNN, Trump did not even brief the top congressional leaders, known as the Gang of Eight, before launching this operation. The Department of Defense only notified congressional staff after the operation had already started. When questioned about this at his press conference, Secretary of State Marco Rubio tried to justify it by saying it was a trigger-based mission and that pre-notifying Congress would have endangered the operation. But many legal experts and lawmakers are not buying this explanation. What makes Falana's intervention so important is that he's not just complaining about Trump's actions. He is specifically calling on the United States Congress to do its constitutional duty. You see, in the American system of government, Congress is supposed to be a check on presidential power. The president cannot just declare war or conduct military operations in foreign countries without congressional authorization. This is a fundamental principle of American democracy, and Trump has been repeatedly violating it. For Nigeria, this hits particularly close to home. When Trump threatened our country in November and then actually bombed parts of northwestern Nigeria on Christmas Day, he was treating Nigeria like some kind of colony or failed state where America can just come in and do whatever it wants without consequences. Falana is absolutely right to call this out. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. We have our own government, our own military, and our own laws. If there are security challenges in parts of our country, that is for Nigerians to address, not for a foreign power to come in bombing and threatening us. What is even more concerning is the justification Trump used for his threats and actions against Nigeria. He has been claiming that there is a Christian genocide happening in Nigeria. Falana has previously addressed this claim back in November, calling it a lie and saying that Trump has no evidence to back up such a serious allegation. Falana pointed out that while there is violence in parts of Nigeria, it is not religiously motivated genocide, but rather criminal activities by armed groups who target people regardless of their faith. The pattern that Falana is highlighting in his statement today is deeply troubling. Trump is waging war against Venezuela in defiance of the U.S. Constitution and international law. He is trying to set up a transition regime in Venezuela to seize control of their oil and gas resources. He bombed Iran without congressional approval. He threatened and then bombed Nigeria without congressional approval. This is not how a democratic country is supposed to operate, and this is not how international relations are supposed to work in the 21st century. If you have made it this far, drop a comment below and let me know what you think about this situation. Do you think the U.S. Congress will actually respond to Falana's call? Should Nigeria be taking stronger action in response to these unauthorized American military operations on our soil? Your thoughts matter, and I want to hear from you. What Falana is doing by speaking out is reminding everyone that democracy requires constant vigilance. When powerful leaders start ignoring the laws and constitutional procedures that are supposed to limit their power, it is up to people of conscience to speak up. Falana has spent his entire career doing this in Nigeria, challenging military dictators and civilian autocrats alike. Now he is applying that same principle to what he sees happening in America. The timing of all this is also significant. We are now in an election year in America. The midterm elections will happen in November, and they will determine control of Congress. Many Americans are already concerned about Trump's actions and his tendency to bypass normal legal procedures. Having an internationally respected figure like Femi Falana add his voice to these concerns gives them additional weight and shows that the world is watching what America does. For those of us in Nigeria, this story should make us think about our own democracy and our own sovereignty. How should Nigeria respond when a foreign power conducts military operations on our territory without permission? What does it say about the state of international law when the president of the most powerful country in the world can just bomb other countries whenever he feels like it? These are not abstract questions. They affect our security, our dignity as a nation, and our place in the world. As we continue to follow this story in the coming days and weeks, it will be interesting to see how the U.S. Congress responds. Will they take Falana's call seriously? Will they assert their constitutional authority and put checks on Trump's actions, or will they continue to allow him to operate without the normal constraints that are supposed to govern presidential power? Before you go, please like this video and share it with others who need to understand what is really happening. Let us keep the conversation going because these issues affect all of us.